Thanks, Chris. It's 8:05. There is outrage in the town of Opotiki after it was revealed that the council wants to cut the library opening hours in half. A community group argues it's a waste of a vital resource. The multi-million-dollar structure only opened 2 years ago, mostly funded by the taxpayer. Reduced library hours are part of cost-saving measures to bring rates increases down from 34% to 10%. Well, for more, we're joined by community advocate and library user Carol Quirk. Carol, good morning. How outraged are you?
Oh, absolutely outraged, Daniel. And if you're wondering why there's a lot of traffic noise, I suspect it's a lot of people going past, looking at the library and knowing what we're doing and supporting us. There's a growing amount of support here. As you say, it's only a 2-year new build, and I'm sure the Provincial Growth Fund funders wouldn't have anticipated that 2 years after fully funding it, that the hours would be cut in half and the staff would be reduced, because the Provincial Growth Fund was there to support sustainable jobs.
And that is what baffles me. I mean, this is a multi-million-dollar new complex, and all of a sudden you've been told it's time to cut costs.
Well, you can imagine the council's between a rock and a hard place, but the library is a community asset. It's a core activity for the town. We don't have a recreation centre. We don't have a swimming pool. We don't have anything for kids to do except a skate park. And the number of people that use this is just amazing. And a lot of people will be disadvantaged.
So, Carol, what impact will it have when you go to half hours?
Well, for me, I'm retired, so I can sort of choose my hours. But the kids who use this, kids after school, they go in to do their homework. You know, there's not a lot of people who've got access to Wi-Fi in their homes. And if you've got 3 or 4 kids in your home trying to do homework, that's very difficult. So kids come in to use it. Older people come in to use the library because they need someone to talk to guide them through all the intricacies of the increasing digital world. I mean, some of the librarians have prevented scams. They've helped people with internet banking. Or how to get onto internet banking. There's a lot of community groups that use it for meetings. 38,000 people go through here in 6 months. That's a huge amount. And we've also got RSC workers who come in, people who are isolated come in to do work here. And I live in a rural area, and if my car's getting panel beaten, which sadly it is from time to time, I have to come in and I've got 2 hours between appointments, so I come to the library.
So what impact will this have on the community? What's the worst case scenario, given that this seems to be the only community hub that really draws in the community and is somewhat a sanctuary?
Yes, well, it is, and I think council needs to relook at it again, because there are a lot of people that don't read council news and don't actually know this is happening. And we're getting a lot of support from people who are quite horrified to see that their facility, and the eyesight I might mention, because that's going to go down from 15 events a year to 1. And there's not a lot of things for people to do here, but going to events and coming to the library are major parts of a community, and they should be kept.
Carol, viewers will be watching up and down the country. Do you think this is just an Opotiki issue, or do you think libraries around the country need to sit up and listen to what's happening in Opotiki?
Oh, yes, and I think a lot of people are making their voices felt. Wellington, for instance, has reversed its decision to cut the library hours because they realise that it is a core activity and you've got to keep them on. But in places like Wellington or even Whakatane, they've got 2 libraries there. We've only got the 1. And 3 of the schools here, including the college, don't have a library. And the college was hoping to make a lot more use of this during the coming year.
Carol Quirk, thank you so much for your time and all the best.
Could I just say, being dramatic?
No, don't you be dramatic. This is what this show's all about. Feel free to go ahead.
Okay, well, I think if the library closes to half-time and the eyesight closes, then we're pretty well buggered in this town.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, look, we wish you all the best, and we will be following this closely. Carol Quirk, Opotiki Library user, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Now, Opotiki Mayor David Moore says while it isn't a trade-off, council makes easily, cuts to services are a must to keep rates increases in check. He says the small council isn't flash, and he's very aware of the impact of rate rises on locals.
I think it is flush, because they're talking about the fact that they actually don't have the money to be able to continue to whatever the library needs to keep it open, to keep upgrades. But this isn't something, we're talking about a library here, right? But actually we can talk about rates rises across the country because councils simply can't afford the infrastructure upgrades. We're talking about transport. We're talking about, maintaining parks and fields in your libraries as well.
And can I just say, a library that's just been put up in couple of years, $4 million was spent on this library.
I know, so is that a waste of money? You spend all of that money and then you're going to shut it down.
Exactly.
I mean, Carol's right. Libraries, and particularly that one that she's talking about in Opotiki, is a community hub. And so you get rid of that and you get rid of a place where people can meet, a place where people can connect, a place where people can come and get help. As she says, people will come in there. And I suspect it's the elderly who want to learn about online banking, because guess what? All our banks in small towns are gone now, and you have to do everything by a phone, or if you can get somebody, or on your computers. And so these are the places and the spaces in our smaller communities where people go to ask for help. And it is a shame that Opotiki can't keep this place open.
That's what I was going to say, because Carol was indicating that it's all walks of life that use it, because in Opotiki there's no other venue that young ones and young at heart can go to. This is, like you said, the glue of the community.
As she says, if that library goes, she thinks Opotiki will be buggered. I think it sucks.
Libraries have been battling for the last few years, not just in Opotiki, but all over the place, with people saying, it's a different time now, things are online.
You can get audiobooks,
but I would be worried if libraries are on the chopping block for all of those reasons, but also for the fact that that's where, for a lot of young people, that's where a love of reading and learning actually starts. And
but I think it's
so important.
It comes down to us as well. Like, I think we need to make use of libraries. We can all stand here and say, we want to keep the libraries, but get yourself a library card, get your children some library cards, sign them up to the local library and get them deeply involved in taking out books. But also, the libraries have now changed. They've modernised themselves to be able to cater for every walk of life, and they hold so many classes. I love my local library and I go there nearly every other day. So
love the library,
keep the libraries going.
I stepped into one maybe about a month ago for the first time in years. And I was surprised about how much it had changed. Lots of activities going on, etc., etc.
Did you sign up for a library?
No, I didn't. But anyway, I feel for everybody in Opotiki. And I just...
Well, especially that support from someone who doesn't have a library card. Me o tono mai. Oh, it's not me. Is it me?
Yeah, it is. Carry on.
It is. I'll carry on.